Okay. Early morning, nobody's awake but me and my videographer, who tends to get drafted more than anybody, but he put a ring on it, so he has to do the dirty work. Although it's kind of fun to draft the kids too. Banana bread. This is my recipe. It's a recipe that I have worked on and developed and started working on when I was a teenager. Here's the first thing we're gonna do. Butter flavored shortening. Why butter flavored? Butter. You could use regular butter, but shortening has the whip and the consistency you need to hold up to adding these bananas in there, because the bananas are gonna make it really mushy. 3 bananas. Y'all, when your bananas start looking like this, I mean, some people eat them. I can't. It's just too mushy for me to eat. But when they start looking like this, for me anyway, you have 2 options. You make banana bread or you freeze them to make banana bread later. So I'm gonna put 3 bananas in here. Did you know that you should open bananas from the end, the opposite end? It makes opening them so much easier. And here's number 3. Yes, I cheated and kind of pulled the end open a little bit just to make it a little bit faster. So I'm going to start this mixing. You really want the bananas and the shortening to incorporate really well together. And it didn't take long. Chris, can you get a picture of that? Because of how ripe these bananas are, it didn't take long at all for the bananas and the shortening to start incorporating together. To that mixture, I am going to add a half a cup. Y'all, my son is messing with his father from behind him. I add a half a cup of sugar. My baby. Want some banana bread? You don't know? I know what you want to do. You want to get on your video game tournament. Half a cup of sugar, half a cup of brown sugar. I personally feel like the flavor of brown sugar mixes so much better with bananas than if you use all white sugar. The only thing is, the banana bread is going to be a little darker than what you expect. Doesn't mean it's burnt, it's just a little darker. 2 cups of bread flour, teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of baking soda, teaspoon of baking powder. Mix all that in together while that stuff's stirring up and mixing up really well. My oven is preheated to 350. I'm going to add 2 eggs now. There's egg number 1. Egg number 2 is coming up. We have, usually when I make banana bread, I just end up going ahead and making a double batch because it gets pretty well around here. But I'm only doing a single loaf today. So I'm going to turn my mixer down because we're mixing in the flour now. And when you mix in the flour, you don't want it to poof up in your face. I've done that before. It's not fun. I'll turn that up just a little bit so all that flour gets pulled in and incorporated. Add a little bit more flour. Don't add all your flour at once. Give it time to mix in there really well. Makes your mixer work extra hard if you put everything in at one time. A little bit more flour. This is going to bake for about an hour on 350. And like I said, don't be concerned if you notice yours looks a little darker than maybe your friend who makes wonderful banana bread. The brown sugar is going to add an extra dimension of flavor, and it's also going to darken it up just a little bit while it cooks. The last thing I'm gonna add, and you can do this anyway, I'm gonna add a half a cup of chopped nuts. Now, a lot of people like walnuts in their banana bread. Some people like, I mean, you can put any kind of nut in there you want, really. Almonds. We like pecans. Pecans are our thing. So I'm just gonna add half a cup. Slow that down just a little bit. Let that mix in there. Won't take it but a minute. And then stick it in the oven to bake. And I think banana bread is pretty simple, pretty easy to make. The hardest part is waiting for it to get done. And when it is done, I'll come back and show you what it looks like.
Recording.
Okay, so 350 degrees. Putting this into a greased baking pan, loaf pan. You can also make these into muffins. My guys, for some reason, prefer jumbo muffins, I guess because they're actually eating more, but it doesn't really stop them from eating 2 of those either. I use cooking spray just because of the convenience of it. It's pretty good. It doesn't hurt it to use cooking spray. When I was growing up, of course, I remember before we had cooking spray, really, we always used shortening to keep things from sticking to our pan. So, here we go. We're going in the oven for an hour. See y'all later.
Okay.
All right. Banana bread is out of the oven. It actually took it a little bit longer than an hour to bake. That's okay. Depending on how many nuts you add, sometimes it's going to take it a little bit longer to get completely done in the middle. However, it is done. It's been resting for about 5 minutes. Pops out of that pan nice and easy. Still really warm. Get your face away from my bread, boy. Weirdo. So I'm going to make a slice here. I'm going to make a tiny slice because that's the one Benjamin gets.
What?
Just so you can see. Remember how I said it's just usually a little bit darker than what you normally see from banana bread? That's that brown sugar in there doing its job. It's okay. Put a little butter on that. Chris, don't drop the phone, my goodness.
Oops.
And this, my friends, is breakfast ready to eat. I can't actually just eat a piece of banana bread, though. I got to have some protein with it. So I usually make some boiled eggs and have boiled eggs with banana bread or zucchini bread or whatever it is I decided to make that day. So, try my banana bread. If you don't like it with the brown sugar in, you can certainly use white sugar, all white sugar. I like it with the brown sugar because I think the brown sugar brings out the flavor of the bananas a little bit. It just looks a little darker than most people are used to. So, try it, enjoy it, tell me you enjoy it, and y'all take care.